All right, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about measuring angles. So I have my printable protractor here so I can erase and draw on here as I need to. So I've already drawn on here one angle. So the first thing I'm going to do when I'm measuring this angle is I'm going to ask myself, what kind of angle is this? So hopefully you can see that this is an acute angle because it's smaller than that L shape. It's less than 90 degrees. So when I look at my protractor here, I see that it's crossing at 130, but I know that this angle cannot be 130 degrees because it's an acute angle. So that tells me I'm gonna have to be looking at the other set of numbers right here because there's those two sets of numbers. So 50 degrees is the measure of an acute angle. And so since my line is crossing right there, I know that this angle is 50 degrees. So the other way you can think about it in general is whenever an angle is facing over here to the left, I'm always going to be using these outside numbers. Whenever my angle is facing to the right over here, it opens to the right, I would be using the inside numbers. So what I'm saying is I look to see which way it's opening to, and I find that 0, and that's where I start. So here it's opening to the left, so I find the 0 that's on the left right there, and that's where I'm going to start and go up from. If it was facing this way to the right, I'd be finding the 0 on the right, and I'd be going up from there, okay? So this one, here's 0. So I count up 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So it's crossing at 50, so this is a 50-degree acute angle. Let's try another one. We're still gonna keep it simple. Actually, I'll keep that one right there. So let's say now it's like this. So this is what I was talking about a minute ago. So now I see that my angle is facing, it's opening to the right side. So now I find the 0 on the right side and I go up from there. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130. Well, like I said, I've already thought about what kind of angle it is, which is obtuse. So 130 makes sense. 50 degrees does not make sense for this angle because this is an obtuse angle. If it was 50 degrees, that would have to be an acute angle like the one we saw a while ago, right? This one. So I know this angle right here is 130 degrees. Now, another kind of angle that it's not another kind of angle, but another one that you might see on the protractor that might be a little bit more confusing, which I want to try and explain to you. Let me erase this. Is one that does not start at 0. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'm going to keep that one there, and I'm going to move this one to right here. Okay, so now I have an angle like this. Well, I don't know what to do because it's not starting at 0. I can't say that this angle is 70 degrees or 110 degrees or 130 or 50 because it's not starting at 0. So what I'm going to have to do is think about like if it was a ruler, and sometimes you'll see these in science. I know when I taught 5th grade science, I saw this sometimes where they would give like an insect or something on this ruler. They would have the insect on the ruler, but it wouldn't start at the beginning of the ruler. They would start in the middle of the ruler. So what you have to do on that ruler one is you have to find where it starts and where it stops, and you would have to subtract those two numbers to see how long the insect is. So same idea here because a protractor is like a ruler. So I'm going to have to see the two places where it's crossing my protractor and subtract. So we've already identified this one right here is 50, and I've identified this one over here, let's see, 90, 100, that's crossing at 110. So I'm going to take 110 and I'm going to subtract 50, which gives me an answer of 60. This is an acute angle, so 60 degrees does make sense. Now you might be wondering, well, how do I know to use the 50 and the 110? What about the 130 and the 70? You could have used those if you'd preferred. 130 minus 70, and you're still going to get 60. So either way is okay. You just have to make sure if you're using the inside numbers that you use the inside number on both. If you're using the outside number, be sure to use the outside number on both. Okay? But either way, that's how you're going to find that missing angle. I mean, not the missing angle, but the measure of the angle whenever it's not starting at 0. So let me give you one more here. This one is gonna have you draw an angle, okay? So let's say that they want you to make an angle that is 35 degrees, okay? And let's say they've already put one line on here for you. So I've even made this one a little bit trickier because I didn't start it at 0. I started it right here at this 110 or 70 mark, whichever one you want to think about it as. So I've got to make one that's 35. So that means I'm gonna have to go 35 degrees over from where I'm starting, okay? So I can go this way or this way. Let's go this way first. So if I do this way, so this would be 10, 20, 30, 5. So if I drew the angle this way, it would be right there. That would give me a 35-degree angle. If I drew it the other way, so here was 110, so 10, 20, 30, 5. This would have been the angle if I'd drawn it that way. So either way, it's giving me a 35-degree angle, okay? But that's two different ways that you could do it. All right, so that sums up for you on measuring angles, how to do it if it starts at 0, how to do it if it starts in the middle of the protractor, and also how to draw an angle.